for the Chief's unit citation for a number of officers, and I'll read their names in a second. The Medal of Valor, the Medal of Honor, and the Purple Heart. So if I could please have the following people come up on the stage. Sergeant Scott Robinson, Officer Joe Neville, Officer James Zamora, Officer Robert Feeney, Officer Kevin Lord, Officer William Booker, Officer Don Calvano, Officer Mike Diener, Officer Ty Strino, Officer Tom Pope, Officer Stacy DeShazer, and Officer Brandon Zabrowski. How about double it up here a little bit? Come on in. Get everybody in here. Put the short guys up front, right? Okay. Just kidding. And as I read this award, all the names I called, except the last two, are getting the Chief's unit of citation. The other two individuals, Officer Stacy DeShazer is getting the Medal of Valor in this incident, and Officer Brandon Zabrowski is getting the Medal of Honor and the Purple Heart. And this has some detail. It won't take long, but I think the detail is more than deserving for these officers in this particular event. On November the 19th, 2007, ADCOM received a call from a citizen reporting having heard 3 gunshots fired by a boyfriend of a woman who lived nearby. Officer Zamora and Zabrowski arrived on scene and contacted the girlfriend, who told officers that her boyfriend was threatening to kill people and fired 3 gunshots in the air and then driven off. Officer Zabrowski left the scene to locate the suspect and actually found him driving near the area of 66th Avenue in Monaco at very low speeds. Officer Zabrowski aired the suspect's vehicle information and location and then continued to follow the vehicle. As he was following the vehicle, the driver and passenger, and this was unknown at the time, are both armed with guns and began shooting at him. Officer Zabrowski alerted 911 of the suspect's actions. Sergeant Robinson, who was behind Officer Zabrowski, could actually see orange flashes coming from the inside of the suspect's vehicle as they were shooting at Officer Zabrowski. Officer Zabrowski immediately realized he was shot. He'd been shot once in the leg, and that one of the bullets had actually traveled to the driver's door, and that's how it struck him in the leg. Officer Zabrowski aired that he had been hit, but advised he was continuing in pursuit of the suspects. The vehicle speeds increased as they traveled southbound on Monaco Street. Several other officers also responded to the area to assist Officer Zabrowski. At approximately East 65th Avenue in Monaco, Officer Zabrowski heard a second volley of about 5 gunshots. These gunshots were coming from the inside of the suspect's vehicle. They had actually shot through the rear window of his vehicle and into Officer Zabrowski's car, obviously in hopes of stopping Officer Zabrowski from following. At this point in time, Officer Stacy DeShazer was covering and had just turned westbound on East 62nd Avenue from Monaco Street when she heard Officer Zabrowski state that he was following the suspect's vehicle. She immediately turned around toward Monaco Street. The suspect vehicle and Officer Zabrowski traveled southbound past Officer DeShazer. Officer DeShazer made a U-turn, was then following Officer Zabrowski. As the 2 vehicles pursued the suspects, Officer DeShazer was now under gunfire as shotgun pellets riddled her patrol car. As they traveled south, the officers were again under another volley of fire. As the officers approached, Officer Neville was at the northeast corner of the intersection of East 58th and Monaco. Officer Neville exited his car, moved up to the church building located there a few feet from the roadway. As the suspects passed, Officer Neville fired several rounds at the suspects. When the vehicle entered the intersection at East 56th Avenue, the driver lost control and collided with a large utility pole. The officers stopped their vehicles several feet behind the suspect vehicle and proceeded to remove the suspects from the car, utilizing a high-risk stop. Officers immediately requested emergency medical services at the scene. Officer Zabrowski and the 3 suspects were treated by paramedics and later transported to area hospitals. Other officers who immediately responded to the scene of the collision were Officer Robert Feeney, Officer Kevin Lord, Officer William Booker, Officer Don Calvano, Officer Michael Diener, Officer Tyrone Strino, and Officer Tom Poe. These officers assisted with securing the scene, removing the 3 occupants from the suspect vehicle, searching the vehicle, and processing the scene, as well as conducting traffic control and providing security at the hospital. The officers recovered a Winchester 12 sawed-off shotgun, a .40 caliber Springfield pistol, several pistol magazines, spent casings, and shotgun shells. In any event such as this, it takes excellent teamwork. The following team members are awarded the Chief's Unit Citation for performing their assigned duties in an extraordinarily effective manner. And that is Sergeant Scott Robinson, Officer Joe Neville, Officer James Zamora, Officer Robert Feeney, Officer Kevin Lord, Officer William Booker, Officer Don Calvano, Officer Mike Diener, Officer Tyrone Strino, and Officer Tom Poe. Congratulations.